Hello everybody! It is time once again to be looking at some Hearthstone cards, but before we do, in the latest video they released, they were talking about the themes they're going for all the different classes. And they said that each class was given their own laboratory with their own theme in this mad science lab. So, druids are going to be looking at biology and plants. They said that shamans are going to be meteorologists. They're going to be looking at the elements and the weather. They said that mages are going to be astronomers, which I'm very excited for. I hope that we get to see like Algalon or some of the other Titan star creatures, like the dragon star creature in Mr. Pandaria. I think that would be cool. I don't know that that's strictly astronomy, but I think that would be cool anyway. And they said that paladins are going to be about lasers, so that's going to be cool. They haven't really released too many paladin cards yet. We do have the one new one, but I think that's the only new paladin card we have so far, so yeah. But they've listed a whole bunch of others for the others as well. It looks like Warrior is going to be mostly about gadgets and toys and trinkets, which I think will be interesting. The only ones we really don't know anything about are Priest and Rogue. Right now they're the big outliers. Although he did hint that one of them might be about cloning. So that'll be something to look forward to. So, with that said, let's get into the actual new cards, and we're gonna start off with the Annoyotron. Not the Annoyotron, the Annoyo module. Excuse me, such a difference. So, this is a Paladin card, 4 mana, 2/4 mech, magnetic, divine shield, and taunt. So it looks like they are going out of their way not to make any 3-cost magnetic cards. So, there's that. At 4 mana, I don't think this is that good. Like, a 2/4 is worth... A 2/4 with Divine Shield and Taunt really seems like it should be worth 3. Giving it Magnetic, I don't think it makes it worth the extra mana. This is going to be played specifically because, much like the rest of the Annoyo like line of mechs, it has a really annoying thing that it says when you play it. I think this one goes howdy, howdy, howdy. So that'll be cool. But I don't think it's necessarily a good card. It's gonna be played purely to annoy people, and that's it. as its name suggests. Next, the Super Collider. Warrior weapon, 5 mana, 1 attack, 3 swings. After you attack a minion, force it to attack one of its neighbors. So what they showed was you hit a minion with it and it's gonna knock it into the other one. Now, the way it showed on the video, it's gonna knock it in that direction. So if you hit the leftmost minion, it's going to be knocked into the minion to the right of it. So, I don't know if that's the rule, but that's just what they showed. It's a neat idea, but it sort of suggests that you'd want this on a high armor sort of warrior. An armor warrior hasn't existed for a while, so I don't know. We'd need some other gadgets to make this gadget worth it. If warrior is the gadget class. I don't know. But we'll see. Next. On its own, it's not worth 5 mana, but it's neat. It's definitely neat. The Druid Legendary Flabitimus Floop. 4 mana, 3/4. While this is in your hand, this is a 3/4 copy of the last minion that you played. So they showed it off as being a a 3/4 Stone Tusk Boar, so it has charge. But a 4 mana 3/4 with charge, I don't think is worth 4 mana. I mean, maybe it is. But I thought that warriors had that 4 mana 4/3 with charge, and with charge, attack is more valuable than health. So I don't think that would be worth it. But they did offer some more suggestions in the video, which is like Ysera, or some of the bigger cards that you'd play. And then, I don't know if this goes on to the next turn. I wouldn't imagine it would, but if that's the case, then I don't know why he mentioned Ysera. That costs way too much. That's more than 10. Playing Ysera and then this as another Ysera would work. I gotta stay. But yeah, so it depends on the minion that you played before, whether or not this is worth it. But whatever you play, it has to have a big effect, because 4 mana 3/4 is not worth it. It would need to have something particularly powerful, something that your deck is built around. Which, you know, maybe. I don't know that Druid has too many mechanics that deal with, like, death rattles or at the end of turn or things like that right now. But maybe in the future. Next, Wizbang the Wonderful! 4 mana 4/5. You start the game with one of Wizbang's wonderful decks. So, this intrigues me. The idea is, you put Wizbang the Wonderful in your deck, and it removes all the other cards from your deck. It's the only card you put in that deck, and it renames the deck to Wizbang is Wonderful. And then when you play that deck, it gives you one of the 18 deck recipe decks. You know, the ones where if you're about to make a deck, you get the choices, and then you hit custom deck if you want to make your own deck. What I'm confused about is that it says the 18, but we're given the 3, so I'm wondering if they're like tossing out the classic version of each and only doing the 2 like deck recipe ones for standard instead of all 3. I'm not sure. But considering there's 3 deck recipes for every class, they got to get rid of one. I don't know which one it is. Probably the classic one if they had to get rid of one. But it's very neat. It's definitely good for people like me who do not buy all the cards and still want to be able to play these kinds of decks that people are creating. Because the deck recipes always reflect what Blizzard sort of guesses will be the right thing to do. A lot of the times it isn't, but sometimes it's close. And so this is a good card for early game people, for low level people who want to still be part of the expansion and play around with the new cards. And it's also good for just sort of fun, because, you know, you've got 18 decks in one card and you're never sure which one it's going to be. So it's good for practice. I like this card. I honestly think they ought to give this card out for free. But that's just me, you know. Next, the Dendrologist. Druid card, 2 mana 2/3, battle cry. If you control a Treant, discover a spell. Treant synergy, huh? I did check, and the Soul of the Forest and the 5 mana summon 3 Treants, those are both classic, so they're staying in standard forever. With those, they're not played very much anymore, but there's also the new one in Witchwood that puts the 3 Treants in your hand. Now that didn't see a whole lot of play, but maybe this will give you some incentive to play that? I mean, discovering a spell is sort of bleh, and it being a 2 mana 2/3 is just okay. I mean, it's definitely good, but you don't want to play it on turn 2 unless you already have a Treant somehow, which isn't possible on turn 1, so we'd need like a 1 mana summon a Treant for this to be played on curve, and in the late game, a 2 mana 2/3 is just okay. really you'd want to play it for discovering the spell. And druid spells, most of them are good. I'm not gonna lie. They're just sort of middling good. There's no game-changing spell that I know of, other than, like, the 10 mana thing. You know, the ultimate infestation. But other than that, there's no game-changing spells. They're just mostly good. So it really depends on whether or not this whole, like, Treant synergy thing works out for this card to work out. But if it does, then, you know, why not? Next, Landscaping. Another druid. It's a druid spell, 3 mana, summon 2/2 Treants. So, there you go, more Treant generation. If this if this Treant synergy kind of deck is gonna work, we definitely need more Treants. And, we definitely need more cards that synergize off of the Treants. And I get the sneaking suspicion the next card is going to be one of those as well, so... is summoning 2/2 Treants good? 3 mana 4/4. Split into 2 bodies. That's not bad. That's pretty alright. I would actually say that this card might actually be better than the 5 mana summon 3 2/2 Treants. Because you don't want to spend 5 mana on 3 2/2s, but you could spend 3 mana on 2 2/2s. It's cheaper, it doesn't take as much of your turn in late game. Yeah, I can see it. Next, the Mulch Muncher. 10 mana 8/8 mech. Rush. Wow. An 8/8 with Rush. Costs 1 less for each friendly treant that died this game. Okay, so let's do the math here. So we have the Rotten Apple that puts 3 2/2 treants in your hand, so that's 3. Makes it a 7 cost. We got the Summon 3 2/2 treants, that's another 3. That makes it a 4 cost. And then we have that, making it potentially a 2 cost 8/8 with Rush. And then there's Soul of the Forest. So even if one of those cards, like the Rotten Apples, even if you don't want to put that in your deck, you put Soul of the Forest in your deck, and then this could potentially become a 0 mana 8/8 with Rush, which is pretty good. Again, it sort of depends on Treant synergy working, and I still think it needs a little bit more. A little bit more. We'd need a card, I think, that summons Treants, but is also a body. If we had a card like that, I think it might be enough. If we had, say, like this card that is a 2 mana 2/3 Battlecry summon a 2/2 Treant, or we had something bigger, maybe a 5 mana 4/5 Battlecry summon 2 2/2 Treants. If we had a card like that, then I could see Much Melcher definitely. And then I could see this whole Treant game working. We'd also need something else for it to work towards beside Much Mulching. But Token Druid has existed before, and we have lost most, but not all, of the token synergy, so I mean, maybe it could work with nothing else working towards the Treant game than the Mulch Mulcher, but I think we'd want. So, 2 cards that we'd need, in my opinion, if we want the Treant synergy deck to work, is a body minion that's worth playing that also summons Treants, and another big card that works towards the Treant game. Possibly even caveat for that second one, instead of a big minion that works toward the Treant game, instead a token buff card that is specifically for Treants. Like, transform all your Treants into 5/5 Ancients, or something like that. then, yeah. So those three things, at least two of those three things, and then I think this Treant game could work. Otherwise, I don't think this is quite enough. Next. Oh, nope, that was the last one. Cool. Well, we got some new cards, and I'm definitely interested, and I'm glad that not all of them are mechs. So, yeah. I'm definitely interested to see where this goes. I'm looking forward to seeing some Paladin cards. I want to see some lasers. And I'm very interested to see what Priest is doing, because I don't know. So, yeah. Alright, goodbye, everybody.